Hi, my name is Chandler Taylor, and I'm doing the extent of copyrights in business. Copyright is pretty much out there to protect a creator or original owner from having their products sold or copied by an outside source for the benefit of the other person. These are some companies that I found that have been or are currently in copyright lawsuits. Through this PowerPoint, we were discussing how copyright laws are outdated and or counterproductive. But first, I have a short video to show you.
Copyright exists to promote the useful arts according to the Constitution. But is it still doing that? And should the government protect so-called intellectual property in the same way that it protects other forms of property? We asked a professor, a movie studio representative, and a tech company founder and CEO these questions. But before we share their answers, I want to assure the MPAA officials watching this video that I did my best not to use any copyrighted material without the owner's permission. But it was pretty.
Just want to show you that first clip just to show you the credibility behind this part of the clip. This part goes into detail about how, or it shows you how detailed you have to be in order to avoid a copyright infringement lawsuit, because they can't even spell out Mickey Mouse's name or make out Mickey Mouse's figure, and there's other examples in here I'll show you.
So far-reaching? Tom Bell's Mickey Mouse curve helps explain. In 1928, Mickey Mouse, whom we cannot portray here in any fashion, so just try to imagine how these three concentric black circles might form his visage, burst onto the scene with a movie called Steamboat Willie, which we also can't play here. In the following years, Mickey Mouse became a star and, in fact, the face of a giant, powerful, beloved corporation, which presented a problem when the then 56-year copyright term on Steamboat Willie was approaching expiration. But Congress signed a 1976 Copyright Extension Act which kicked in, all too coincidentally, just in time to save Mickey from the creative clutches of his would-be filers for another 19 years. Mickey's time was running out once again when the Sonny Bono Act saved the day by extending the copyright life of works of corporate authorship to a remarkable 120 years. Mickey remains in safely white-gloved hands until at least 2023. The world's first copyright law protected works for only 14 years.
If the copyright was 14 years, you would see Star Wars in the public domain. Imagine the amount of creativity, imagine the amount of new business and new content and new jobs that would create.
But Scheffner said,
like he said at the end of that clip, even loosening up on the copyright laws can cause so many more jobs and so much more creativity out of producers or artists or musicians and stuff like that. But also, like I said, they had to go through and star out Mickey Mouse's name because that's how strict the copyright laws are nowadays. Some trending legal issues. Currently, Apple and Samsung are in a lawsuit for about $2 billion. Apple's suing Samsung for features that were stolen from the iPhone, or allegedly. The slide to unlock, the voice-activated assistant Siri, which is now on the Galaxies, its Google Voice controls, and the autocorrect and unified search software is the same now. Steve Jobs even went on to say that he was going to destroy Android because it was a stolen product when Samsung started becoming popular. Another one is Pinterest. It has a really uneasy relationship with the copyright law. The uneasiness comes from the fact that Pinterest is a user-based company and it needs users to copy pictures from other websites and post it on theirs, which is very illegal, but again, Pinterest is not at fault for what users do, so it creates the uneasiness. It's a very sticky situation too, because by users doing that, it also creates online traffic or quote-unquote foot traffic in the store, but it would do that on their website from the copied pictures. So in one hand, they could be in a lawsuit for copyright infringement, but the other, they're driving business to the company that they took the pictures from. So that law is just outdated. In my opinion, copyright laws are way outdated. Many researchers have noticed this trend and have begun bringing it to the public's attention, but yet nothing has been done about it. With the advancements in technology each and every year, the copyright laws that were put in place are rapidly becoming outdated, and in some cases it is counterproductive to small businesses. In 1976, a Copyright Act was put in place. It was the first one since 1909, but it actually wasn't put in effect till 1978. And pretty much all it did was back off. It actually allowed artists and authors to have their product copyrighted longer, which I feel was the opposite of what needed to happen. Like the guy said in the video, so much could happen with Star Wars nowadays, and especially for future generations that are going to miss out on the up-to-date versions of that. Copyright laws are restricting business success, especially in small businesses, like I said, because it's creating almost a monopoly. They have created a very hostile competition between the top companies in each industry, like Samsung and Apple, like I said earlier, and the lifespans are way too long. It went from 56 years in 1978 to up to 95 years now. Maria Costello is one of the analysts I found. She wrote an article called Copyright Law Revision in 1975. Her article actually led to the passing of the copyright law in 1976, less than a year later. She proposed 3 solutions to this, or to the Copyright Act. One was pay the copyright owner per copy or use of their work. Next, look at whether the copyright period should be longer or shorter. At the time, again, it was 56 years. Have different copyright laws depending on the type of work being copyrighted, which I agree with the most, but they went more towards the extending the copyright period. Maria Clement, she was more focused on internet regulations, which is the title of her article, and she focused on how music and movies especially being pirated, and music is being copied illegally and used illegally. Not only are the copyright laws outdated, but again, they are causing harm to businesses and entrepreneurs. She also noted in her article, the 1998 Digital Millennium Copyright Act currently governs copyright infringement. It is outdated because it doesn't cover the full range of internet privacy issues that have emerged over the past decade. Because internet has emerged so much since 1998, they need to update all the acts that come with the copyright, but the Copyright Act is holding everything down. William F. Patry, he came out with a article on CNN called "The Time to Update Copyright Law." He was a strong believer that the copyright period should be lessened. In 1978, like I said, the copyright period was at 56 years, and then it got bumped up to 75 years, and then in 1998 it was extended to another 20 years, with a possibility of being copyrighted for 95 years. His approach, or his opinion on an approach, was a sensible approach would not act as an obstacle to the future generations who want to create something new. So like I was saying about the Star Wars thing, our kids or future generations won't be able to see that without something happening with copyright laws. And William F. Patry, he graduated from San Francisco State University as a lawyer with a concentration in copyright law. Artists can create historical movies or songs in the future. It's preventing companies such as Pinterest from succeeding, therefore rendering other business from profiting from other sites' popularity, the law has not advanced to cover possible piracies of music and movies. Finally, they have created unhealthy competition between the top dogs, such as Apple and Samsung. Thank you for watching this presentation, and I hope you enjoy.